Cesar G. Hernandez. I'm the program director for Mile One. Welcome everybody here today. And today we'll be discussing marketing and communications. Have over 20 years experience in economic development, mostly workforce development, employer relations, community development, student relations. Most recently, I was given the opportunity to take over Mile One, Laredo's only incubator and co-working space that focuses on small business development and entrepreneurship. And we're actually located a few blocks down from here. And so we're very blessed today to be here with Mr. David Cash Vasquez, Dr. Lena de la Garza, and Yesenia Escobedo. Dr. David Cash Vasquez is a 20-year marketing veteran and native of Laredo, Texas. He's a graduate of J.W. Nixon High School and Vidal M. Trevino Magnet School of Communications. David earned his associate's degree from the Laredo College and business degree in political science and communications from TAMU. His career in marketing began in 2001, working as a radio DJ and director of creative production with Mix 98.1 and Hot 106.1, where he learned about the principles of traditional media, branding, and expanding into digital marketing, working various organizations and holding multiple leadership roles. In 2009, he started Grow Laredo, a digital marketing agency offering digital advertising, search engine marketing, website development, search engine optimization, social media strategizing, lead generation, email marketing, and internet sales. He's led multiple trainings and seminars on digital marketing, teaching entrepreneurs and small businesses how to get online and succeed. David enjoys, he's actually a Texas realtor, organizes beer festivals and events in Laredo, co-owner of Mix It Radio 107.9 morning show, and DJ, and is the president of the Downtown Laredo Builders Association 501c3. He loves learning new skills, providing value to the community, sharing knowledge and values with a new generation of professionals in Laredo. And his motto is, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Napoleon Hill. Welcome, David. We've got now Yesenia Escobedo. Yesenia is an engineer and turned entrepreneur who started her first online sales business in 2015. Through her experience guiding her team of 49 sales representatives, the idea of building dreams was born. Escobedo went on to serve on various local and state boards before deciding to launch the Building Dreams Company in October of 2018. The company started with only 2 services in sales and marketing and has since expanded and services industries in supply chain, construction, restaurant, finance, and wholesalers with average revenues ranging from 2 to 5 million. Fun fact, Yesenia is a lifelong musician and proud alumni of the United South Panther Band. And last but certainly not least, Dr. Lena Marie de la Garza works with Texas A&M International University's A.R. Sanchez Jr. School of Business and holds a doctorate in educational leadership and administration. She serves as assessment director and assessment instructional professor of business communication. She is a member of the TCEA, TDKG International, and the Climate Reality Project. Welcome everybody here today. Thank you for joining us. We're going to ask a few questions and talk a little bit about marketing and communications. And I want to start off with this. In 1989, a great feel-good movie was made. I don't know if y'all remember Field of Dreams. And we all can think of that one saying that came out from Kevin Costner's mouth, right? If you build it, he will come. People changed it throughout the years. If you build it, they will come, et cetera, et cetera. Well, this doesn't necessarily hold true in the world of business. You might build a great business, have a great idea, a great storefront, and nobody will walk in the door. You're going to think to yourself, where are my friends? Where are my family? Why aren't they buying stuff from me? I have a great product. I have a great, I make great cupcakes. I have a great service, et cetera, et cetera. No one's walking in through the door. Well, have you thought about marketing? Have you considered marketing your business to your potential clientele? So today we'll be discussing a little bit about that. First question to David. Grow Laredo has been a huge proponent of getting businesses online. What's the easiest way to get a business products, services, and brand on the internet?
I love this question. First of all, thank you, Laredo College, for hosting this. Also to Governor Greg Abbott and his team, the Texas Economic Development Department, and of course, Laredo Chamber of Commerce. I'm going to ask a question to the audience. How many of you have a business or small business or organization? Okay, good. How many of you have a Google My Business profile? How many of you posted on your Google My Business profile today? When's the last time you checked your Google My Business profile? See, the reason I ask you that question is because Google My Business is a free tool that is offered to small businesses, and that is the easiest way for you to get online immediately, okay? When we start talking about local search, what's the last thing that you searched on Google? Who uses Google in this room? You ask Google for everything, right? And time is evolving, and through time, as time evolves, what are we doing now? Alexa, hey Google, hey Siri. So search is evolving also, but now we're doing it through voice search, right? And that's a little bit more advanced, but right now your search queries are what are finding or allowing your customers to find you online, right? So plumber in Laredo, funding in Laredo. How do I get financing for my business in Laredo? How do I find cupcakes or bakeries in Laredo? If you don't have a Google My Business profile, the chances of you being found are, slim to none over your competition. And this is where you can get ahead of your competitors. So do me a favor right now. I'm going to give you some free game right now. If you have a business right now, go to Google My Business, search it on Google, open up Google and Google My Business, and start the process. All you need is a Gmail account to get started. And what you're going to do is claim your profile. Once you claim your profile, you'll be able to enter and update your business information. So your business name, phone number, address, hours of operation, website. All of these things are super critical when trying to put your business out there. I can't tell you how many times I've searched up a business locally. I click on call this business now, and guess what? It's the wrong number. You're losing business. You're leaving money on the table, as they say. And so this is a great opportunity for businesses to take advantage of this free tool. And why do I say Google? Because Google is the #1 search engine in the world. Okay? It is the its #2 search engine in the world is YouTube. Guess who owns YouTube? Google. Guess why it's important to put YouTube videos out there under your business name? Because Google indexes that. Google has a partnership with Twitter. So when you post things on Twitter under your business name, Google indexes that. What do I mean by indexing? That means that when somebody searches for that business, they find that in the search query. The chances of you popping up are there. So take advantage of these free tools. And best of all, you can even make a website with Google My Business, absolutely free. All you have to do is put in a little bit of information. The who, what, when, where, how we started this business, what we offer. It's all on Google. So do me a favor right now. Please, if you're a small business, free tool for you to use and for you to gain more customers. Best of all, your customers can even message you instantly, and you can back straight from Google. So many tools out there, and that's going to be the easiest way for you to get online, get your business online, get your organization online, get your nonprofit online. This is the easiest way for you to do it. Google My Business. I don't know if y'all would like to weigh in, Yesenia?
Yeah, I'll share a story because what he says is very real. And actually, one of my first clients had huge impact because of Google, right? So I'm going to tell you a little story. Do we have 30 seconds to listen? Yes? Okay, we can get off our phones. So one of my first clients had a limousine service, right? And I even brought this person in to speak at one of my events. So she didn't have a website, she didn't have her Google listing, and she was going out of business. She's a good friend of mine, and I said, hey, I'm just starting out. Can I do your website on Google, and can I do your Google listing? Very simple, very easy. We did it, we got it done within, maybe 10 minutes. And as soon as it came out, 2 weeks later, she calls me back and she says, Yesenia, what did you do? Because I have people calling me left and right. And I said, well, there's a market for the type of service that you offer. And she said, I didn't know that there were so many people looking for us. Like, we're nonstop. And she said, can you come over to my house? And I said, yes. So I went over to her house, and when I did, she shared something very intimate with me. And she said, you know, my husband used to be a bus driver for a local high school, and he was gonna have to go back to work. But then you called me and you said, hey, can I do this for you? And you know, she said, what I have to lose? Nothing. So we did that, and she had so much business come from it. A year later, they bought another limo. Now they're expanding, and actually, I think they're one of the only 5 companies in Laredo. And if you look them up right now, Executive Limousine, this is not a public announcement for them, but I love their story, right? Because she shared with me, now we were able to send money to our kids, and this helped us, right? And that kept their business thriving. So it was the first step. So I don't take credit for everything that came after that. They've scaled, right? I don't know if they're like doing SUVs now, picking people up at the airports, but they took a huge share of the market because it was there. It was there to take. No one else that was a limousine service company was out there avidly using Facebook or using Google. And so that's one small difference. And so when Cash says, hey, I want you to do this for yourself, he means it, because it's not gonna impact our pockets. It's gonna impact yours. So I definitely recommend that you do it. You don't need to have a physical address to have a listing, okay? But if you do have, a physical address, then you wanna make sure that you put it in there. So that was my 30-second snippet story.
Excellent. And so to your point, keep it updated, ladies and gentlemen. That is one of the biggest things that affects the business on Google. You search them, you find their information, and you go for lunch, and they're not open. Oh, because we changed our hours. We're no longer open on Mondays. We're now open Tuesday through Friday, or Tuesday to Saturday. So be consistent when it comes to your Google listing and just your internet presence. It's very, very important. Thank you very much. Dr. De La Garza, this actually, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just want to add something also. Treat your Google My Business listing just like you would your Facebook profiles, any other social media profile. You can upload photos, you can upload videos, and you control the narrative. Remember, it's all about reputation management, right? Reviews. What are people saying about your business online? There's some people that don't even answer their reviews. They're a great business, but they have a 1-star review on Google. Guess what? How many of you buy from 1-star review businesses on Amazon, on Google, on Yelp? Anybody buy from 1 stars? What about 2 stars? 3 stars? I might look at it. What about 4 stars? Right? And who do we buy from? This is where you control the narrative. It's all about reputation management online. Word of mouth is still the best form of advertising.
Thank you. This question is for Dr. De La Garza. What do stakeholders expect from a typical communication message?
Okay, so thank you for your question. Basically, just kind of going back to what Ms. Escobedo said and Mr. Vasquez said, stakeholders, the people that you're going to be actually working with, who are actually looking at your profiles, your business profiles, engaging with your business at any point in time, are going to want for you to kind of, again, going back to your reputation management. So they're going to want to be sure that when they see those 5 stars, they actually will get that 5-star treatment, which means that they are looking at, are you an authentic business? Are you transparent? Do you communicate with them on the level, which means that you are not holding anything back, of course, right? Not giving them trade secrets or anything, but you are saying, you know what, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing for you, and you're establishing that relationship with them. So they do continuously want to be sure that you as an entity, you as an organization and as a business, do want to go ahead and communicate consistently, right, the same message over time, where they're not going to be wondering, well, what's happening now? What are you doing? This is not what I was promised. And so they are always continuously looking at that. So if you can kind of always self-analyze in terms of, you know, what is my goal of my business? What is my mission? What am I tasked to do? What I want to do? What niche am I trying to fill? Then I think that, again, the clients are going to be saying, you know what, I can give myself over to this particular organization and do business with them, not only for the immediate time, but also for the longevity of our relationship. And hopefully that's a long one. So thank you.
Yeah, I want to add something to what she said. So I'm really big on being an impact-driven person, and I believe that a lot of people that start businesses do it because they have a passion, and that's really what keeps the longevity of your business going, and that starts with your mission and vision, right? And so when you're thinking about making these small, tiny decisions that you make every day, like addressing the reviews, you know, you want to speak in a language that aligns with your mission, right? So if you're saying, you know, you're trying to be authentic, right, but then you're replying in this way that doesn't align with your company values, then you're really not being authentic, right? So I really liked what she said.
I will say, when you're answering reviews, get ready for the trolls. Get ready for the negative comments, because when you're a public entity or you're a public-facing business, you have to be prepared for that constructive criticism, whatever shape, form it comes in. These days, internet warriors come a dime a dozen, and so we're experiencing that with the rise of social media. It's given everybody an opinion, whether fact or not, the ability to put that out publicly. So if somebody has, I will guarantee you, you will get the first mishap you have with your business, it's easier to get negative reviews than it is positive reviews, right? But it's how you respond to those negative reviews that shows your true character, shows a true reputation of that business. So, for example, if somebody comes in and says, I hate your business, you do a terrible job, the best response there isn't to engage in a negative way. Negative rhetoric just doesn't work, right? So going back at the customer in a negative way is not going to work. I guarantee you, what will put them at ease is most customers, when they have a negative review, they just want to be heard. So the best way is to catch more flies with honey. Hey, I apologize. It goes against our values. I'm sorry you had a bad experience. Here is my phone number. Call me directly. I would love to discuss this and find a way to keep you as a customer. Here's my email. Here's my manager. My name, I'm the owner. I want you as a customer. Give me a second chance to do right by your negative experience. That's the best way to respond to negative comments or negative reviews, and the same way to respond to positive reviews the same way. Hey, I'm glad you had a great time out here. I'm glad you had a great experience. Please let us know how we can make it even better the next time you come around. That's the best way to respond to reviews and maintain your reputation online.
Thank you. As the saying goes, right, there is no such thing as negative publicity, but they make a very good point in do not engage in negativity. Stay positive. Try to get that person in front of you. Try to get that person on the phone to make sure that you can rectify that issue that they may have had. So we live in the digital world, right? We talked about it. That was our first session. We're on our phones all day long. We're on our computers all day long. And so this question is for Yesenia. What are the stages of building an e-commerce company or adding e-commerce to an existing retail store?
Do we have anybody in retail here? Anybody make sales? Okay, we have someone over there. Does anybody have a service? maybe consulting or in business. Okay, here we okay, good, good, good. So we see a few hands here. And you can actually have your service online and sell it. And then obviously once you build a team, as I see you have around yourself, then that can scale massively, right? And so what I want to get to with e-commerce is how you build that. There's a lot of companies that are currently in retail and they're going out of business. And we're silently saying this, right, because they're transitioning into e-commerce or they're trying to move into this world. And we saw that huge dynamic change when? When did we see it? During COVID, right? There was a huge spur of sales online. Well, what does that trajectory look like now? Do you think it's going to continue to grow or do you think it's going to fizzle out? It's going to continue to grow. Okay, how many of you here have an Amazon account? How many of you have Amazon Prime? High, please, please, up high. Okay, okay. And how many of you shop on Amazon versus shopping on another, maybe small business website? How many of you prefer Amazon? Why? Shipping? Okay, there we go. Shipping, fulfillment. Right? So how do we fulfill our customers? Through customer service. Believe it or not, fulfillment, right, the shipping process is part of customer satisfaction, right? Are they happy? Are they not happy? And so we have to move with these trends. Not only do we have to focus on getting ourselves a website and getting online, right? That is the basic. That was 2 years ago. We're moving really fast, right? So now we have to focus on how are we going to fulfill? How are we going to scale, right? And we can talk a little bit more about that, but that's what I wanted to get to. There is a way for us to transition from what we're doing right now, but there is no better time than now to start, or yesterday.
Weigh in on it.
Just in terms of what Yesenia said, e-commerce, again, I think you need to have that pay or buy now button on your website no matter what you're selling. There has to be an option for customers and visitors that are do business now, collect, whether you're collecting data, and I'm a big proponent of collecting data on your own personal website versus collecting data on social media. Just because you have 20 million followers on social media, what happens when Instagram goes out? What do you do then? What happens when you get banned from TikTok for putting out a video that wasn't along the guidelines of TikTok? Now you've lost all your followers, your engagement, your opportunity to reach your customers. That's why you have to utilize your website to collect data. Names, numbers, emails are gold these days. Building a solid email list, a contact list of your customers that are coming in so that you can market to them after the fact, after they've left your website. That's the best advice I can tell you as far as, you know, just kind of adding on to the e-commerce thing is if you're not selling something, start collecting something and start collecting data. If you're going to sell something, make sure you have that buy now button and have an opportunity to sell that service. If you're selling a service, put an appointment tool on your website so that customers can book an appointment directly from your website. Google My Business has that. They have the opportunity for you to set up appointments directly from Google My Business. But now start thinking about your storefront, your digital storefront. Give people the opportunity to do business with you instantly, because in a world that's moving extremely fast, we want everything now. Instant gratification. I need it yesterday. So make sure that's a part of your marketing strategy, and your website is one of the first places you should start with that.
I do want to add something. Cash is just spitting out all of these great nuggets, and it's kind of just going bing, bing, bing. What else can I share to add value today? Because at the end of the day, they say that only 50% of what you listen is what you take home, and then you only remember 50% of the 50%. So what I want to share with you is a story of one of my customers and how this is an example of what needs to be done next. So I have a customer right now who is making this transition. So he has a storefront and he's making this transition into e-commerce. But he has different locations in the US. And so we have to launch a massive sale online, but of course we have to have a pilot program. Now, before I came into the business, their idea was let's just make a website and let's launch it. That's not gonna work. Why? Let's go back to the Amazon detail, which is fulfillment, the supply chain. Well, where are you getting your items from? Can they ship quickly to your customers? And what about reviews? We're gonna have massive reviews online if, based on how things are going right now. He didn't have a website before, now he has a website. So now people can find him online. Now they can reach out for customer support online, to the chatbot, right? So there's all these other moving parts. And so I said, you need to give yourself some time to make a process and a plan to execute the launch, right? Because when an airplane takes off, it's not just about taking off, right? It's about landing that airplane. And so you need to think about all those moving parts when you're strategizing your launch or your transition into e-commerce, whether it's as a service or with products.
And if I may add, going back to both of their points, one of the things that you have to kind of continuously look at is just the data that's being generated by all those clicks, by all those visits. And right now, of course, and I know that one of the largest growing fields at the moment is data analytics, right? And so if you can kind of keep track of those numbers, they're going to be better able to help you in terms of making decisions for next month, next week, next year. And because, again, a lot of information is kind of growing at a rapid rate, and I think new information is coming every, at least 5 years ago, 87 days, there's new information to be built and kind of looked through, curated through. So we have to kind of keep that in mind about, okay, so what is the data telling me? What can I go ahead and assume? What can I go ahead and safely assume, not take too much of a risk, but also just kind of know what's going on with my business, where I'm heading, where I'm thinking about going. And so again, if you're not really kind of paying attention to that, I'm sure you all are, that's another good place right now that is having a lot of wealth of information for you and for your small business.
Excellent. Thank you very much. This question is for David, and of course, by all means, weigh in if you'd like. Which is the best way for a small business to advertise? We have the traditional advertising, the radio, the TV, the newspaper. We have the digital marketing, and so forth, the word of mouth, et cetera. But in your opinion, what would be the best way for a business to start advertising?
I think you need to look at your audience. That's the first question. You need to look at your customer/audience, right? Who is your customer? Where do they live? How old are they? How do they consume content, right? And I think that's what's going to tell you and answer that question for you is is it traditional media? Is it billboards? Is it newspaper? Is it radio? Is it digital? If I'm trying to market to 55-year-olds a dating website, am I going to find a lot of 55-year-olds online? I don't know. I don't know if that was the greatest example or not, but or if I'm marketing to 18-year-olds, where are all the 18-year-olds at? Are they on Facebook? Like even on a digital platform, like you have to like really understand where that audience is at, because for us older folks that grew up with social media from the dawn of social media, Facebook is everything. Right? What's this tic-tac, talk-tac? What's that? These kids are on, that's where all, and you have to understand also the way the market's evolving right now. These younger, my kids, my 12-year-olds are on Discord. What's an NFT? What's the metaverse? And I think it goes back to something that our cybersecurity panel was talking about, is really you need to get in tune technology-wise with what's happening with trends, okay? And understand what your audience is up to. Take a deep dive and find out where they're at. If your audience is in Mexico, why are you running ads in English? If your consumer is a Mexican consumer, why are you running ads in English? Why? Why would you do that? Google doesn't translate your ads or your website for you. You have to translate it. So you have to figure out how to make sure that you have a universal language tool on your website to make sure that people that are visiting from Mexico can translate from English to Spanish. So those are all little things that you need to kind of take in to understand where you're going to have the most impact when it comes to your advertising. Oh, and budget-wise, I will say, and tracking-wise, not that it's a dig towards traditional media, but I will say this. In terms of data analytics and tracking your advertising, traditional media is great, but radio will not tell me how many people actually heard my commercial that day. Newspaper, yes, they have a great amount of subscribers, but it will not tell me how many people read the newspaper that given day at that time. Digital media, though, if I run Google ads, Facebook ads, TikTok ads, will tell me how many people engaged with that ad, how many people clicked on my link, how many people actually purchased because of that advertisement, and then I can take my return of investment and really dive down all the way to the penny. So that's the big difference between digital media versus traditional media.
Do you want me to tell a story? So I do have a client. I'm always going to tell stories. I love telling stories. And so I do have a client that actually just, so many examples, just went through this actually. And well, through many of the things that actually you've just discussed. But he actually did a lot of radio, lots. So every week he was pumping about $3,000 to $6,000 on radio. Boom, just boom, 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 boom. And I said, what are you doing? Who are you reaching? And he's like, well, I'm trying to reach a certain audience. I was like, well, you're in different cities, right? So your demographics, age, is going to change. Because as you know, in Laredo, for example, there aren't a lot of people my age. There's people that are younger than me. There's more of them. And you need to look at those things. The little things matter. And so what we did is we switched gears and we said, okay, how about we do a test run? And what we're going to do is we're going to see how much we can earn from us doing digital ads, right? We'll pump in some money over here and see the difference between that. And we actually saw that there was no change in the amount of people that showed up to the event. So basically, we were reaching the same type of people. And I was like, but we're spending a lot less on digital ads. So what would you prefer to do? And he said, well, I'm very comfortable with the radio because I've been doing that for years, but I do want to cut down on my costs on spending for marketing, right? And so I said, okay, well, let's be more efficient on it. I also looked at what they were doing before with Facebook ads specifically, and they were spending about $300 every 3 days. And I said, you don't need to be spending $300 every 3 days. And I said, who's doing your social media marketing? And I looked at the analytics behind it, the insights, and we actually found that they were not even marketing to the right audiences. And remember what I talked about, those small changes between who you're targeting in terms of age, it matters and it makes a difference. It depends on your industry. For example, if you're a service in finance, it's more expensive for you to get a click than someone in retail, than someone in music, right? So those costs are very different. Obviously, your reward, your revenue is different as well. So you're more willing to invest if you're in finance or whatever because the return is bigger. But in this case, it wasn't that way, right? So we wanted to cut our cost, and we did just that because we switched on to social media and we came up with a good strategy. You can't just go out there and just wing it. You're going to spend a lot of money. I'm very focused on cost-effective strategies, and more so because I work with a lot of smaller businesses, right? I'm not working with the people that are making 20, 70 million a year. I'm working with, 2 million, 5 million. And so it's important for them to use that money to continue to scale, right? So.
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate all your insight and information.
Again, thank you very much for joining us today and providing the information on this panel. We are going to take about a 5-minute break for this one to try to get back a little bit more on schedule and give you some time back at the end of your day. Again, thank you all very much.